Hello guys, this is Jacko from MuddyTigerOutdoors, and today I'm going to show you something really cool. If you're like me that likes knives, that carries a knife every day in the pocket, or likes to use a knife for different tasks, but at the same time you have a limited budget, I have a really cool knife to show you that I've been using for a couple of months, and it's a knife that it's definitely surprised me as far as what it does. So stay tuned and I'll show it to you. Alright, so the knife that I'm talking about is this one right here. This is the CRKT, or Columbia River knife and tool. And this model is the Crawford Casper. And this is a pretty cool knife. It has performed excellent as far as a $20 knife go. Now, I like a big knife, even if it's a pocket knife or a folder knife, because I do a lot of different things with it. I may take it out to the woods and I may actually cut wood or just do so many different tasks. And of course, I do take it to work with me. So this knife has been an excellent knife. Now, what you got to keep in mind, if you're going to pay $20 for a knife, for a folder knife, or any kind of knife for that matter, that you're going to use for utilitarian purposes, you're not going to get the best steel. You're not going to get the best handles. You're not going to get the best quality, maybe. And overall, it's just not going to be the best knife that money can buy. This, though, seems to be a little bit of an exception. As far as the handles go, they are plastic. It's not going to be micarta. It's not going to be G10. It's not going to be anything fancy. It's molded plastic. It's very durable. I've dropped this a couple of times, and there's no chips. There's no scratches. It's textured a little bit, and I don't know if the camera will be able to show you the detail, but it does have a little bit of texture. It's not sleek, it's not completely smooth, and I like that because I feel like I can definitely grip it well. It's got a little bit of texture right here for your thumb if you're going to grip it like this, or if you're going to grip it like this with your index if you're cutting fruit or cutting food. But it's definitely a pretty decent knife. It's got a bit of a Lanyard hole there. Of course, you're not going to be able to switch your pocket clip, which is fine. I like to carry tip down anyway. Now, when I found this knife, I was just kind of looking for a knife that would visually attract me first. That's kind of when I see a knife first. This type of blade, I do like it. It's not my favorite, and it's got a little bit of a saber grind. But it's a pretty decent. It's a pretty decent blade. I do like it, and of course the other aspect that attracted me about this knife. If you follow the channel, I'm a big fan of coyote tan or coyote brown items or gear. So this definitely caught my attention real quick. Now, as far as the quality and some of the specs of the knife. The steel, again, not the greatest quality, is 8CR14 MOV. The length is, I think it's about 5 3/8 when it's unfolded. And again, as far as the steel goes, I'm not a steel geek. I don't know much about steel. I really don't care much about the quality, the properties of steel. What I care is if this is going to break on me, if it's going to hold an edge for a reasonable amount of time. And this knife has definitely met those criteria. I haven't sharpened this knife. I've had this for about 3 to 4 months, and I have not sharpened it. And you know, it's pretty interesting that I think that most people would consider this not the best quality of steel. Haven't sharpened it, and I can still do this to paper. You know, I can still do slicing of paper. Now, bring some cardboard. Of course, cardboard is a little bit tougher to cut. It's still going to cut through the cardboard. It's not going to be as smooth as if it was recently sharpened, but then again, I use this every single day since I've had it. I've had it in my pocket. I've taken it to work. I cut rope. I cut a lot of different materials, paper. I open my letters, my correspondence with this. I've opened so many cardboard boxes or cut through cardboard, cut through tape, and I can still do this with an edge that hasn't been sharpened one time since it came in the mail. So I think that says a lot. I've had more expensive knives. For example, one of my Spydercos, I paid about $60 something for a knife that is reasonably comparable. It's a little bit thinner, it's a little bit smaller, and it feels a lot more wobbly. And I've had to resharpen that knife 3 or 4 times with the same kind of use that I've given this knife. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Yes, it's a Spyderco, but I'm getting a lot better edge retention from this knife than I've had from the Spyderco. And of course, everybody's experience is going to be different. But the point of this video is to show you that a $20 knife not necessarily means cheap, or not necessarily means poor quality, or not necessarily means that it's a throwaway knife. I don't plan to not carry this knife anytime soon. I'm going to continue to carry this knife. And it's starting to show a little bit of wear, and that's expected. It's, like I said, it's been in my pocket in and out every single day since I got it. And the cool thing about this is it's still available for $20. And I'm going to show you right here my iPad real quick. This is Amazon. That's where I got it. And if you take a look at these knives right here, these are still the same price. Well, this one in the top is a little bit cheaper. But if you look down the list, they're still the same price. Now, this is available in other colors and configurations. You can get it black. You can get some serrations, like you can see here. There's OD green with a black blade. There's black on black. You can get it in several configurations. And the beauty of it is that it's still $20. It hasn't gone up in price. Some of them are a little bit cheaper than others. But that's pretty cool. Now, of course, there's a few things that I don't like about the knife. You know, I don't think this is necessary, this little locking mechanism for the blade. You push it forward and you cannot close the blade. You know, that's the liner lock. It's still engaged. It's not going to close up on you. So if you're going to do a lot of heavy duty, if you're going to throw the knife, if you're going to cut or carve through wood, it's probably a good idea to engage the lock. I haven't had any need for it because I think the frame lock, it's pretty sufficient. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. It doesn't feel wobbly. The blade, by the way, is, I mean, I don't know if the camera will be able to tell, but there's no play, there's no wobble. Every time I close this knife, it's a smooth action. Of course, opening the knife, it's got 2 studs, one on each side. Very quick, very easy. You feel that positive lock, and it engages every single time. It doesn't feel like it grinds. It doesn't feel like it gets stuck. So again, the point of this video is to show you a $20 knife. It can be a pretty good knife. Now, I definitely don't consider myself a knife connoisseur or a knife expert or a steel expert or any kind of expert of gear for that matter. But I'm always on the lookout for good quality gear. I'm always on the lookout for things that I like, that are attractive, that are durable, that everybody, I look on YouTube and I see you know, several opinions of other people that own the item that I'm interested in before I bought it. This one, I kind of watched a couple of videos on YouTube. There doesn't seem to be a huge following for this type of knife or this model specifically. So I don't know, I don't think it got a whole lot of attention when it came out. So I didn't get a whole lot of information before I bought it. But I thought, you know, for $20, you can't quite go wrong. If worst case scenario, you can use it for 3 to 4 months, and you know, if it starts to go, it starts to go, and you're only out $20, which is really not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. But it was definitely a very pleasant surprise. No issues. Edge retention is great. Functionality is great. It's a little bit on the heavy side. It weighs a little bit. I can't remember off the top of my head. For $20, I don't think it can get a whole lot better. You can find a lot of cheaper or about the same type of price knives at Walmart for you know, so many other different kinds of brands. You know, CRKT, it's a good brand. I've had good experience with CRKT. Sometimes it's kind of a hit and miss with CRKT. Sometimes you can find a pretty good knife, sometimes not necessarily the best kind of knife. But as far as the Crawford Casper, I definitely spent a good $20 there. So excellent knife. Well guys, like always, I really appreciate you watching. I hope you liked the video. I hope you liked what you saw. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Please check us out on Facebook, Muddy Tiger Outdoors. Don't forget to share this video. And we'll see you guys the next time. Take care.